So we had the greatest economy. Everything was good, but we're really outdoing it this time because we have investments coming in largely because of tariffs, and I think because of November 5th, the election result. But we have investments coming in like we've never had before.
The President on Syria.
Please, behind you. Caitlin, behind you. Thank you, Caitlin.
On Syria, can we expect an announcement on a pact between Syria and Israel, or an announcement on them joining the anti-ISIS?
Yeah, you can expect some announcements on Syria. We want to see Syria become a country that's very successful, and I think this leader can do it. I really do. I think this leader can do it. And people said he's had a rough past. We've all had rough pasts, but he has had a rough past. And I think, frankly, if you didn't have a rough past, you wouldn't have a chance. He gets along very well with Turkey, with President Erdogan, who's a great leader. Erdogan's a great leader and very much in favor of what's happening in Syria. We have to make Syria work. Syria is a big part of the Middle East. And I will tell you, I think it is working and really well. We're working also with Israel on, getting along with Syria, getting along with everybody. And that's working amazingly. As you know, Hamas has given us back numerous bodies. It sounds pretty gruesome, but it's something the parents want more than if their son had been living. Hard to believe. I've seen all of the parents, so many of the parents, and getting back the body of their son, their dead son, is as vital to them, as important to them, as if the boy was generally the boy was alive. And as you know, over the last 4 or 5 days, we've gotten a lot of the additional bodies that they said they were going to. They've worked very hard to do that. So we have peace in the Middle East. It's a great thing, and nobody's ever seen anything quite like it.
After your meeting with the Syrian president today, Mr. President.
Last week about trade, about your talks with Switzerland. We're reporting that you're near a deal that would lower their rates.
With Switzerland?
Yeah.
We're working on a deal to get their tariffs a little bit lower because
15% is what we're doing.
No, I haven't said any number, but we're going to be working on something to help Switzerland along. We hit Switzerland very hard. We want Switzerland to remain successful, and we're a part of Switzerland in the sense that they've been a very good ally. Yeah, we're working on them and some others, and we're working on others to increase them a little bit too.
How close is it to Switzerland?
Switzerland? What, do you have something to do with Switzerland? He wants to buy a nice watch. He wants to buy a nice Rolex, right? We'll give Rolex some publicity because Rolex they've been very nice, Now, look, it's a beautiful country. It's a small country, but economically very big. So we're working on something. Caitlin?
After a meeting with the Syrian president earlier today, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a big ally of yours, said that she would rather see you focused on nonstop domestic policy meetings here at the White House instead of nonstop foreign policy meetings. What's your response to her saying that, and also saying that grocery prices are up and not down, as you've said?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. But I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. I mean, we could have a world that's on fire where wars come to our shores very easily if you had a bad president. We had a horrible president, and we ended up with Russia, Ukraine, and we ended up with other disasters, too. Don't forget, I put out 8 wars, 9 to come. I think I'll get the other one taken care of. But I put out 8 wars. And look at the damage that Russia, Ukraine has done to us as a country. I mean, we spent $350 billion. We're not spending any money anymore. Now they pay us through NATO. I got NATO to go from 2% to 5%. Well, that's very important. When you're president, you really sort of have to watch over the world because you're going to be dragged into it otherwise. You're going to be dragged into a world war. I think if I weren't president, first of all, that war would have never happened if I was president. And if I weren't president, that war could have led to World War III. It won't. It's not going to anymore. But when I first got in, I said, wow, this situation could lead to World War III. And I got NATO together. I got everybody together. But with all of that, I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know. I don't devote a lot of my time. Let me give you another example. China. China was going to hit us with rare earth. Now, everybody says, what does that mean? Magnets. If China refused to give magnets because they have a monopoly on magnets because they were allowed to happen over a 32-year period. There wouldn't be a car made in the entire world. There wouldn't be a radio. There wouldn't be a television. There wouldn't be internet. There wouldn't be anything because magnets are such a part. Now, nobody knows what magnets are, and not overly sophisticated, but to build a magnet system would take 2 years. So if I weren't able to say to China, look, if you're going to do that to us, we're going to charge you 158% tariff. It was 100% on top of 58%. And China called up immediately and said, we will make peace. And we made peace. We made a great deal. We made an unbelievable deal. China's paying tariffs to the United States, not the United States paying tariffs to China, which has always been the way it was. Nobody can believe these deals. But so when somebody makes a statement about he's devoting time to the world, well, the world is the United States, because if the world's in trouble or if the world is ripping us off, you know, the world was ripping us off before I came here. Europe was getting massive tariffs. They were sending us 9-10 million cars a year. We were sending them none. They were not taking our agriculture. We were taking massive amounts of their. It was so unfair. Now we have a deal where $950 billion is coming into the United States because of me and because of tariffs. So if I don't do all these things, our country is doing very poorly. So, you know, it's easy to say, oh, don't worry about the world. But the world is turning out to be our biggest customer. The world was on fire. And we could have been in that fire very easily if you didn't have a president that knew what he was doing.
What about can you guarantee to Americans that travel is going to go back to normal once the government...
That travel is? Oh, yeah. It'll go better than normal. You know why?
When the government reopens.
Yeah, sure. It'll be much better than normal because we're buying the most sophisticated avionics and, you know, technology for our control towers. And we didn't have that. We had a guy named Buttigieg. Edge, they say, is the best way. Just say two edges, like off the edge of a cliff, which is where they were taking us, by the way. Edge was the Secretary of Transportation, and he spent billions of dollars trying to patch together our air traffic control system, which was a conglomeration of all different systems in all different cities. They had hundreds of companies working on it. And they were spending billions of dollars. And when they turned it on, it didn't work. It didn't even work a little bit. That's why you had a helicopter crashing into an airplane, that if we had a great system, bells and whistles would have started going off. So we are now in the process. We're in final bids of getting the finest system anywhere in the world. I've analyzed it. Sean Duffy has been working really hard on it, doing a fantastic job, by the way. And over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be handing out the finest air traffic control system anywhere in the world. All the towers will be equipped. They were going copper wire into glass wire into other types of wire. And if you knew anything, you know copper wire doesn't work with glass. You know glass doesn't work with other substances. And they spent billions of dollars, and when they turned it on, nothing happened. Okay? We're getting the most sophisticated, all brand new. All brand new. Every control tower will have the same exact system. It'll be the most sophisticated system by far in the world. And what we've done is we've looked around other countries and we've taken the absolute best systems in every different form, because there are different. You have lots of different companies like IBM and Raytheon and a lot of great companies. They're all bidding, and we're going to pick the best one, and it'll get built relatively quickly. And we are going to have the greatest air traffic control system anywhere in the world. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All righty, folks, you were listening to President Trump in the Oval Office swearing in our new ambassador to India, Mr. Sergio Gore. Interesting choice there. Before we get to our first guest, very quickly, let's talk about the markets. They were ripping up today, straight up, across the board. The Dow up almost 400 points. NASDAQ up 522 points. S&P up 100 points. And check this one out, folks. 41.18, that's the price for 1 ounce of gold, up $109 today alone, hitting a brand new high. Oil up a little bit. That was good news. It didn't really follow the rest of the market. Crypto had a interesting day. I would call it interesting day. Bitcoin, 105,600, up a little bit, but certainly not as much as the others. The equity markets were strong. I'm trying to figure out what was causing all this. Some of it was maybe the relationships with China were coming through. I think a lot of people were looking at somehow the opening the government was going to be bullish. I will tell you one thing, though. When Trump announced $2,000 for every American, he said every American gets $2,000, I think there was a major positive spin on that. This happened once before. Trump did this in his first time as president. He offered $1,200, and that was the beginning of a major bull market move, because when people have more free money that comes at them, they spend it. That's what they tend to do. Trump said $2,000 for every American. Scott Bessent came on over the weekend and said, well, hold on for a second. It may be in the form of a tax credit. I don't think anyone heard that. I think the markets were certainly looking for reasons to move up in the market. So you saw a monster move up. I'm pretty sure the S&P, that's a new record high. I will check that. Talk to me, guys. Oh, let's do this. Since we're talking about $109 higher on an ounce of gold, listen to this. It's the one time of year that Birch Gold, they give away free gold with every qualifying purchase. That's right, just for Black Friday, I should say. When you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in Birch Gold will send you free gold to your home for every $20,000 purchase. Look, gold started this year around $2,600 an ounce. Start of the year. What are we, 11 months into the year? Not even. $2,600, now it's $4,118. By October, over $4,000, now $4,118. Why? Obviously, global uncertainty. 2025 has been defined by trade wars. Central banks are pulling from the US dollar as the global reserve currency, and military tensions continue to build across the country, across the world, really. Gold thrives in times of uncertainty, and if you're looking to diversify your savings, if you haven't done it yet, folks, you got to do it. Get into gold. Birch Gold can help you. Plus, now through November 30th, get free gold with a qualifying purchase. Just text the word America to 989898. That's America to 989898 to claim your eligibility and for a free info kit on gold. But your opportunity for free gold with purchase ends on November 30th. So don't wait. Text that word America. Free gold. Free gold. Think about that. Word America to number 989898 for full details. And about this, we got to show you this. We have besides the fact that this show is just the edge, it's just blowing the doors out of other shows. Top 0.1%. We're growing 120 times faster than all other new YouTube shows. We have a huge guest this Thursday. Huge guest. Look at that right there. I want you to subscribe and guess who that guest is going to be. 3 days away. Here's how you subscribe. Take your phone, aim your phone right at that QR code, and right over here, when you open your camera, it'll be a little yellow line. Just press it. You've automatically subscribed. I'll never charge you a penny for this. This is not about that. Not marketing. It's just within YouTube. Shows them who's really doing well. You're killing it. Or you go to youtube.com/@EricBowlingTheEdge, youtube.com/@EricBowlingTheEdge. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your viewership. And I thank you for subscribing. It will help. And by the way, when you subscribe, at the bottom, leave a note who you think the huge guest on Thursday morning will be. Big, big, big. Don't think politics. Think other stuff. Big. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.